Good morning, welcome to Good Morning Uganda. It is the 15th day of Ramadan and the Lenten season. It is a wet morning and March usually has rainy mornings. In case you are surprised, why is it raining each and every morning? March is always characterized by heavy powers, especially in the early hours of the day. It is Women's Day week and Women's Day month. And the celebration internationally and here in Uganda is just 3 days away. But do not forget, it is the 4th day of March of 2026. And we welcome you to the show. Make sure you are sipping on your Ugandan coffee because it is in our nature as we track breaking news both on the local scene and international scene. And of course, in the world of business and sports. And here is what you need to know this early morning to stay connected and up to date. My name is Joan N. Moronji and you're welcome. Thank you for accompanying us if you're just joining in to watch Good Morning Uganda. It is inspirational. It is, yes, a good, bright Wednesday, I'm told. In the areas of Greater Masaka, it is not raining, but the sun is promising to come out bright. And just to update you about the eviction of the street vendors, the Ministry of Trade, Industries and Cooperatives defended the government's decision to evict vendors from the streets of Kampala, stating that street vending is not recognized under the existing legal framework and therefore operates outside the law. Now, the ministry's position was presented by Commissioner for Internal Trade, Zakei Kalega, during a meeting between Parliament's Public Accounts Committee and officials considering findings in the 2025 Auditor General's report. Now, Kabalega was responding to a question raised by Kasanda North, a member of Parliament, Patrick Nsamba, who sought clarification on whether the evicted vendors could report to the ministry to be allocated alternative working space. And yes, of course, when we come to the global update, at least 50 people have been killed in Israeli strikes in Lebanon in the past 2 days. And this is according to Lebanon's Ministry of Health. And at least 335 people have been wounded in that time. And Israeli bombardments in Lebanon have continued till this morning, this Wednesday. I'm not alone. I'm with Robert Chirabo Nyonyi to make sure you are following the current trends within the country and, of course, worldwide. Good morning, Robert.
A lovely morning to you. How are you?
I'm well. It's a cold one.
No, we get used to it because in Uganda we have majorly 2 rainy seasons and our farmers are always alert because most of them depend on rainfall-fed agriculture.
Okay.
So we don't have that much of irrigation in Uganda. Now we have the March to May. Then I think we have about August to December.
Okay.
Now these are usually rainy seasons and this is a major rainy season. So farmers out there, if you miss out on this, unless you're going to carry on planting with irrigation.
So what are you looking at this morning?
First, I want to call upon the Director Traffic, Rollins Niwabine, the spokesperson traffic as well, and the spokesperson of police, to follow up on these school vans.
What is with the school vans?
One, they overload pupils. Okay. Yet a parent is charged per child. Even if you have 3 children in the school, each child will pay, and they're very expensive, by the way, if you look at a distance and how much they charge. But of course, the convenience, the parent will look at transporting my kid on a motorcycle because the alternative would have been a border. It is even far way cheaper, but has a lot of risks and inconveniences when it rains, so many things. But they overload. Second, they just choose anybody to drive the children.
What do you mean, Robert? Don't these people have driving permit licenses?
I highly doubt. I've been observing this for quite a long time. As I come in, sometimes I even come in late and I meet a number of school vans. And you see that people driving, very young boys. I've seen so far like 6 of these. Very young boys. You may think even the children maybe of the owner of the school or something like that. then the way they drive.
The recklessness on the
The
road.
recklessness, because let me tell you, when you're driving, if I'm driving my car and my family is in, I want to tell you I'll drive differently than when I'm in alone. There's some risks I can't take when I'm with my family. If I'm on my bike and I have madam at the back, there are things I want to do. You know?
I agree.
But you can't tell me you're having about 16, because in a van they're supposed to take 14, they could be even 20. You know, they fit them and pack them.
Yeah.
20 of these from different families, and you're driving in a very foolish manner. These are lives, so many lives.
It's absurd.
Now, away from that, fellow Ugandans, yesterday I watched a clip that sent me to sleep wondering, where have we gone to? There is a gentleman known as Engineer Kawesi Stephen. Now, this man contested for the Nansana municipality MP seat. Now, it is alleged he crossed even to the NRM. He contested as an independent, but he's a noob. Just that he didn't get the flag, so...
Not affiliated.
He's noob. You know, this confusion ended. Those days were campaigns. Now, let's be very honest.
Okay.
He's a member of the National Unity Platform, much as he contested as an independent. Now, politics is done, we speak facts as they are. Now, this man was crying out loud that now is in hiding. When he was going in campaigns, he borrowed 450 million shillings from money lenders and promised to give them 600 million shillings. Now, he put one of his buildings in a prime land.
That is
in
an
Nansana.
interest of over 200 million.
He borrowed another 350 million.
On top of the 400?
Yes. Now, for the 350 million, he promised the money lenders that he would pay 500 million.
That is 750 million plus the 700 also of the profits of the money lenders.
He says he was very sure that after entering parliament, being sworn in, he was going to pay these people their money. Now, he didn't go through. He said his properties are being taken, they are going. He's in hiding because the money lenders are hunting for him. And no wonder now I begin to see why some people are making these dramatic shifts into NRM. Some of these people think that because they invested, they may get help or seek attention of the powers that be and see how to help them. But Ugandans,
I think it all boils down to education.
Now you hear this person saying, once I do this, I will let you know what is in Noop, what. But
so he's giving.
Why would you?
He's selling out his soul.
Why would you?
How was he even so sure that he would be elected?
No, they were deceived when we had the wave.
Yeah.
So they thought
it's obvious.
Forgetting that a wave comes and goes.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if Luganda or English is a burden to people. Omuyaga gujja ne gugenda. A wave comes and goes. You can't rely on a wave.
That is quite a lot
and
of
many
money.
of these hit a dead end because they thought the wave is still present.
But Robert, from what you're stating, he came as independent because he was not given the party card for NOP. So, of course, that would have, he would have realized his chances of winning had been diminished.
One, he was very, very sure that he was going to get the NOP ticket. He was sure, but didn't get it. But still, he continued saying he believed the people of Nansana could have voted for him.
Had he been given the card?
Now, just imagine, how do you built a building of 45 million and
you know you're putting
35 million worth that.
Let's look at what you have on the local updates, Robert. It's quite interesting and engrossing there.
We pray for you, but one would say,
of course.
So, money lenders don't joke.
What is the top story you do have there?
Well, I have President Museveni at Iftari dinner with the Muslims. Now, Muslims across the country gathered for an Iftari and launch of Tamini General Insurance, which His Excellency, the President of Uganda, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, Kipahura, organized by the Office of the NRM National Chairman, Head Hadija Namyalo. This started with prayers of congratulating His Excellency upon winning the 2026 general elections. Thereafter, the head of the National Chairman's office, Hajat Adija Namyalo, unveiled the intentions of the event, saying the initiative is intended to support small-scale business operators and low-income earners by providing affordable insurance solutions to help them sustain their businesses and strengthen the economy. The CEO, Tamini General Insurance, applauded the president for creating a conducive environment for inclusive financing for an ecosystem in Uganda that has addressed the challenges of the economy. While launching the Tamini General Insurance, President Museveni welcomed the initiative as it complements the cycle for saving and borrowing without interest. Museveni pledged to support in boosting Muslim women economically, as they are key in boosting the country's economy. The Muslim leaders, led by Sheikh Muhammad Yunus Kamoga, thanked President Museveni for releasing him from prison, but also asked him to release his fellows who are still in jail. President Museveni called upon all Ugandans to conserve medicinal and aromatic plants in order to support health systems, preserve cultural traditions, and support the livelihood of many Ugandans. President Museveni's message was delivered by the Prime Minister of Uganda, Robin Anabanja, during the commemoration of the World Life Day held at Entebbe Works Grounds in Entebbe Municipality. Uganda joined the rest of the world to commemorate the World Life Day under the theme Medicinal and Aromatic Plants, Conserving Health, Heritage and Livelihood. The Prime Minister of Uganda, Robin Anabanja, represented the President at the colorful ceremony held at Entebbe Works Grounds. Museveni said conserving wildlife is vital because the sector is expected to boost Uganda's economy by $50 billion by 2040. The function was also attended by the Minister for Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities, retired Colonel Tom Gutime, and his deputy Martin Mogara Bahinduka. Ministry of Internal Affairs has said there could be a likely economic loss Uganda may incur as a result of the ongoing war in the Middle East. The ministry spokesperson, Simon Peter Monday, said several flights have already been cancelled, which affects the country's foreign exchange earning. The ongoing conflict between the USA, Israel, and Iran has disrupted air travel, freezing movement, and affecting flights across the Arab world and its partners. Several countries have cancelled flights over safety concerns for their travelers. Uganda is among the countries affected by the crisis in the Middle East, with several flights cancelled, visa extended, and incoming tourists negatively impacted. The travelers whose flights were cancelled have been urged to take their passports to immigration offices to correct cancellation records and avoid future inconveniences. The current situation in the Middle East has also forced potential travelers, both inbound and outbound, to extend their visas. Meanwhile, the Directorate of Citizenship and Immigration Control has clarified the countries Ugandans can travel to that are visa-free. In some destinations, travelers are required to present a return ticket and proof of hotel booking. Finally, from the local scene, police in Kira have arrested 2 suspects of obtaining money from people by promising them positions as resident district commissioners, RDCs, and deputy RDCs. The suspects have been identified as Juliet Namaganda, a resident of Bweyogere Central in Kira Municipality, and Kayiwa Idi, a resident of Buvuma. The arrested follow a complaint by a man from whom they allegedly asked for more than 2.5 million shillings, promising to secure him a job as a deputy RDC. Police say they have been charged with obtaining money by false pretense and fraud. These arrests started on Friday 27th this month after a complaint by a man from whom they had asked money. A resident of Bweyogere in Kira municipality was arrested over these allegations. Several victims reported the matter to authorities. Obadiah Mugabi, a resident of Nambale in Uganda district, is one of the people who claim to have been conned. Mugabi, who was a teacher, said got in touch with a woman identified as Rose Juliet Namaganda, a resident of Bweyogere in Kira municipality, to help him secure the job. Though the officials there coordinated with police, and in the early hours of yesterday morning, Juliet Namaganda was arrested. Namaganda claimed that she had received information about people looking for RDC positions. She denied engaging in any fraudulent act. Well, you want to become an RDC, someone comes to you and tells you if you can give this amount of money, you get yourself there.
But why wouldn't they even question in what capacity does this person ask me the money from? Is he the appointing, or she the appointing authority?
But also, do people know who the appointing authority is and how systems work? That's also a very big challenge. Many people are being conned at that position. Also, those that are so much in NRM, vocal, someone come and no.
There is a deal for you.
There is a deal, and at the end of the day,
and even they ask for a kickback before even the deal is, they give up front and then kickback. But let's swiftly look at what is happening internationally this early morning. And we cannot refuse to talk about what is happening in Iran, as smoke was seen rising after multiple explosions were heard near the U.S. consulate in Dubai. United Arab Emirates and therefore several local accounts claimed the American consulate was the intended target amid Iranian attacks across several Gulf nations, with some reports alleging that the U.S. embassy area in Al-Sif had been struck and the attack was not intercepted. Authorities later confirmed the incident, stating on X that a limited fire broke out in the vicinity of the U.S. consulate following a drone targeting operation. The fire was quickly extinguished, and officials said no injuries were reported. Dubai authorities have confirmed that a fire resulting from a drone-related incident near the U.S. consulate had been successfully contained, and emergency teams responded immediately. U.S. Secretary of State Rubio said all personnel are accounted for after a drone unfortunately struck a parking lot adjacent to U.S. consulate in Dubai. Amid the escalation, the U.S. Embassy in the UAE issued an urgent security alert for Americans in Dubai and Abu Dhabi. The U.S. Department of State advised also U.S. citizens to depart the UAE immediately via commercial means due to serious safety risks and the possibility of airspace closures. Moving on, Qatar has announced the arrest of what it called 2 cells operating for Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps. 10 suspects were arrested in the cells, the Qatar news agency announced on Tuesday. 7 had been assigned to spy on vital and military facilities in Qatar, while 3 were tasked with carrying out sabotage operations. During interrogation, the suspects admitted their affiliation with the Iranian Revolutionary Guard and that they had been tasked with espionage missions and sabotage activities, QNA reported. Qatari authorities have found locations and coordinates of sensitive facilities and installations, as well as communication devices and technological equipment in their possession, the report further said. Tehran has launched multiple retaliatory attacks on Qatar and other Gulf Arab states since the U.S. and Israel began joint strikes on Iran on Saturday. Iran says it is targeting U.S. assets in the region with its attacks, but civilian infrastructure, including airports and hotels, have also been hit. Forging forward, coming back to the continent of Africa, updates in regards to the 11th largest country in the world, and that is DRC. The U.S. has imposed sanctions on the Rwandan army and 4 of its senior commanders, accusing them of fueling the conflict in neighboring Democratic Republic of the Congo. Fighting has persisted despite a U.S. brokered peace deal in December between the Congolese and Rwandan governments aimed at ending the local running conflict in eastern DRC. The U.S. Treasury Department accused the Rwandan army of undermining the peace deal by training, equipping, and fighting alongside the M23 rebel group. Rwanda swiftly rejected the accusations, saying the sanctions had unfairly targeted one side and misrepresent the reality and distort the facts of the conflict. Kigali denies supporting the M23 despite overwhelming evidence and says its military presence in the region is a defensive measure against threats posed by armed groups in DR Congo to Rwanda's security. The sanctions come 3 months after Congolese President Felix Tshisekedi and his Rwandan counterpart Paul Kagame signed the Washington Accords aimed at ending hostilities. Quite interesting way from our neighbors there. But the hostilities still continue in DRC.
Well, for me, I pray for peace. We are tired of these refugees. You see,
but they have
Uganda,
no option. You can't say you're tired of the refugees.
We have an open door refugee policy.
Of course.
That is praised globally. Even the United Nations praises it. But we must be very careful. We've been so open to our brothers for problems that they started and they can solve and bring to an end.
Okay.
We bear the burden of these refugees. Are you aware how many places within Kampala where the cost of living has shot very high
because of the of course
presence?
Kansanga, Bunga, Buziga, apparently also Mengo and Rubaga are becoming places of refugees.
It's not very good where you find that at one day the indigenous people may be outnumbered by the refugees. When you go to Rukulinanganda, go to Kansanga, we have a place here, go to Chisenyi, dominated.
You know, in South Africa, such situations
dangerous.
culminated into xenophobic attacks. I hope it doesn't become the case here. But let's look at what the local press is having this early morning, 4th March 2026.
The new vision, government lists visa-free countries, a total of 40 states. Ugandans can travel without a visa. Then woman who made Ugandans eat soil to cure HIV/AIDS. Okay, who was this lady? And moving on, still we see Museveni offers Muslim women 20 billion. And in business, Kira Motors gets 930 billion contract to supply buses. Education head teachers warned about loans. And still we see more of these countries that are visa-free, loans becoming loans. Well, that's what the vision has for us this morning.
Okay.
Let's look at the Daily Monitor. Now here we have alone, frightened on the bus from Iran. Well, they remind me of that Fide Bongo retires a song regarding HIV/AIDS. Then Bank of Uganda theft. The evidence against accountant's boss. Ugandans, where there is money, we are very crafty. USA freezes Rwanda Defense Forces assets. And we still here, we see some of the evicted students on their arrival in Istanbul, Turkey, from where they were scheduled to fly back home, which is today. Oh, good Lord. Thank you. We shall see some of them coming back. And the Daily Monitor still, we see Kasese Diocese 6, 4.5 billion for Martyrs' Day celebration. Sometimes I ask myself, 4.5 billion. Do they serve food there?
Oh, we're yet to find out, of course, on Martyrs' Day celebration.
Christian
But I've not seen an arrangement that is inclusive to give everyone food. Look, that is quite a lot.
Because 4.5. No,
I think for the distinguished guests.
The shelters are already there. Of course, this is not
No, come on. There is extra preparations minus the standing shelters. So you cannot say because everything is in place, people need to hydrate, there is security, there is...
I'm not an expert in this. But godly things, when budgets are so high, tend to scare me. 4 billion.
Yeah, because we need to ensure the security is good and people, you know, other miscellaneous things that do take place within those celebrations. But swiftly, let's look at what our neighbors are having for us this morning in regards to the press. And we're beginning off with the Citizen there in Tanzania. And the biggest headline there at the front page is a government to boost fuel reserves amid Middle East conflict. President Samia Suluhu Hassan has directed the Energy Ministry and other relevant authorities to beef up Tanzanian strategic fuel reserves and shield the country from potential shortages and price increases as the war in the Middle East rages. And Bank of Tanzania down there, why Tanzania's two biggest banks dominate industry. The interview there is on page 3. And in the Business Daily, investors now eye Southern Highlands ahead of UDOM launch. And there is a call out here to universities there. Produce your own textbooks. Minister urges local varsities. That is in Tanzania. And up there, Raising Women Give to Gain. Of course, that is the theme for the Women's Day this year. And Bahati Mutomaye's journey of integrity and inclusion in public service. Moving on to the Daily Nation in Kenya. On the front page is a storm over Linda Mwananchi party. Registrar of Political Parties is reviewing an application to reserve the name. And there is a fraud on the concern about from the Daily Nation. NSSF sold fake land to Teachers Circle. Why workers will lose twice. Imagine losing the land and the money. Lobby, 8 learners have died in schools this term. And oil, gas prices rise as Iran war disrupts shipping. You know, yesterday the Strait of Hormuz was closed off by the Iran Revolutionary Guard Corps. So they said no vessel is going to be passing through that passage. So it's quite a statement of magnitude when it comes to oil. Remember, the Strait of Hormuz passes over a fifth of the entire oil and gas that we use globally. So we are looking at we shall be looking at the developments of what is happening concerning the oil prices here in the business on GMU. But let's sip on our coffee, as you also do sip on your coffee, as we listen to and enjoy Fev featuring Urban Codes with Intentions. Good morning.
Life.
Good morning. Welcome to Good Morning Uganda. It is the 15th day of Ramadan and the Lenten season. It is a wet morning and March usually has rainy mornings. In case you are surprised, why is it raining each and every morning? March is always characterized by heavy powers, especially in the early hours of the day. It is Women's Day week and Women's Day month. And the celebration internationally and here in Uganda is just 3 days away. But do not forget, it is the 4th day of March of 2026. And we welcome you to the show. Make sure you are sipping on your Ugandan coffee because it is in our nature as we track breaking news both on the local scene and international scene. And of course, in the world of business and sports. And here is what you need to know this early morning to stay connected and up to date. My name is Joan N. Moronji, and you're welcome. Thank you for accompanying us. If you're just joining in to watch Good Morning Uganda, it is inspirational. It is, yes, a good, bright Wednesday, I'm told. In the areas of Greater Masaka, it is not raining, but the sun is promising to come out bright. And just to update you about the eviction of the street vendors, the Ministry of Trade, Industries and Cooperatives defended the government's decision to evict vendors from the streets of Kampala, stating that street vending is not recognized under the existing legal framework and therefore operates outside the law. Now, the ministry's position was presented by Commissioner for Internal Trade, Zakei Kalega, during a meeting.
Was brought to you by
I'll call you every day, yeah, yo, baby, don't know.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000 or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21 hash and select daily or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Exercise can't be sustained. Eating can't be stopped. It's even harder to lose weight. Come and give it a try. Genshikang L-carnitine chromium capsules, plant extract, scientific ratio, take 3 capsules each time. The active ingredient accelerates fat burning, eat twice a day. Don't take a detour. Weight loss starts now. Genshikang L-carnitine with chromium capsules helps you stay in shape. Please follow medical advice when taking this product. For more information, visit our website www.hgo.com or call 0800 335555.
My question is, what is the difference between rental tax and income tax? How comes I'm paying both taxes on my own premises? If you want to have a tin, but you are not making any income from your business, you should take on the obligation to continue filing your nil return.
Commissioner General, to invest in taxation, when people understand taxes and they know the importance of taxes and they know the fair assessment of these taxes they're supposed to pay, I think everybody will embrace taxation.
As banning groupage cargo, clearance protects small traders who cannot afford to import full container loads individually and rely on consolidation to remain competitive. Cargo to come in groupage is consolidation, it's legitimate, and we can't ban it. What we have banned, or what we have stopped, is the use of container leaders. Now, Fiona, the good news I have for you is that among the new tax proposals,
now you can get direct answers. Send your tax-related questions via WhatsApp or SMS to 0790-141-887 and the Commissioner General of URA, John Musinguzi, will personally address them. Tune in to UBC News Tonight every Monday and Wednesday for expert insights and clear explanations. Booza Commissioner. Live from UBC Studios in Kampala,
This is Good Morning Uganda.
Good morning once again. Thank you for watching UBC. We do come to you live every single day, Monday to Friday, here on Good Morning Uganda. And we are located at Nile Avenue. It is time for the real, and you bear me witness that wherever you're coming from, wherever you are watching us from, you have heard of news, stories, or even seen, witnessed cases or instances of mob justice here in Uganda. So you can visit our social media platforms, that is X. We have a poll question for you there, and it says, what can be done to stop mob justice in Uganda? What can be done to stop mob justice in Uganda, but specifically, what strategies can be adopted to address and reduce incidents of mob justice in Uganda? I repeat, the X poll is what strategies can be adopted to address and reduce incidents of mob justice in Uganda. But you can also voice your thoughts on our WhatsApp number, that is 0709 602592. You can profile your thoughts on that and give your opinions. Now, the latest concerning mob justice. Community members set ablaze a hut of a man accused of encroaching on the land belonging to Oweko Primary School in Nebi district. The school PTA chairman, Mr. Euzonio Okoth, said they had been warning the suspected encroacher since last year. He said the suspected encroacher was using the land as an agricultural demonstration site and had lost a court case to the school, but he continued his activities. Several schools in the district are facing challenges of encroachment by community members, especially where there are no clear demarcations. A case of mob justice, they are coming in from Nebi district. And when we look at the current status and trends in Uganda, mob justice is increasing in Uganda, with reports showing a 75% rise in deaths caused by mob action between 2013 and 2019. In recently, extreme examples include the murder of a police officer in Uganda and a recent fatal incident, you remember, in Manafwa. The causes are a bit vast, and today we are going to dissect and make an analysis, of course, together with you. That is why you can visit our X account and you voice your thoughts there, and also engage with us on our WhatsApp number. Everything is just there on the screen, but do not send a voice note or do not make a call. Just send a text message. So we are going to analyze this with Robert. Robert, when we look at mob justice, first of all, when one hears the term mob justice, what does it mean to the ordinary Ugandan? Now,
It is funny that there is a tag justice on the word mob justice. Because for me, I look at this. First, it's illegal. Okay. That is, one would say in a layman's language, taking the law in your own hands. You become the judge, you become the investigator, and then you sentence this person. And mostly people call it koti y'abantu ba bulijjo oba koti mbagirawo. Now, because they suspect someone, then they take action. Mostly this is violent action against this person. Many have lost lives. Many have died. And many have been innocent people. Though not to say that even sometimes they take the very, very people that
Okay.
have committed these offenses. Yes, sometimes mob justice is justice. Because that very person who has committed that offense, sometimes, and I want to say in rare incidents, it's the person that they go for. It's like when police come out and talk about a stray bullet. I think that would be mob justice in their arena. You know?
Really?
Yes, you hear some people and you say stray bullet. But this is coming from a gun. But not to digress.
Okay.
Mob justice is where a community or a group of people pounce on a suspect,
Whether guilty
beats
or innocent.
them up. Sometimes if police has not moved in very swiftly, usually mob justice ends with the death.
Yeah.
Most of the times it ends with death. Now, that's why I said people appoint themselves arresting officers.
The police
They investigate there and then.
and the state attorneys.
And then they pass a judgment, a sentence, which is usually a death sentence.
An immediate sentence.
Very, very unfortunate that in this 21st century, this crime, according to police reports, is still rising. Yesterday, I went to Mulungu. This place, would I call it a landing site? But Mulungu, not so that much.
Okay.
So I went there just to relax. Now, one of the ladies that served me told me I had left something unattended to, my bike unattended to.
Okay.
So she was like, I saw you, and you're the biker who has come and parked. I'm like, yes. She said, but have you locked properly your bike? I'm like, it's likely like that. So she told me, but you see, here they have so far stolen 4 motorcycles. But the day we get one, that person won't leave this place.
She will serve as an example to the rest.
Said the day we get one person, one suspect, he won't leave this place. Now think about that. That people plan. Now they're already ready that when we get, it is not about investigating or anything. But of course the next question that follows is why do we see reports? Why do we see statistics showing these cases happening regularly? First, I want to say is lack of trust in the law enforcement system. That sometimes Ugandans do not trust that when these people are arrested and taken by the law enforcers, justice will prevail.
Okay.
So that is one of the factors why we see mob justice increasing. If people don't believe that justice is going to be served. 2, lack of enough information regarding how the law works. For example, our law is very clear. I can get police bond. The number of cases where a person has a right to police bond. Now, when someone or when a community arrests a suspect, they take this person to police. And after 48 hours, they are seeing this person back to community. For them, they will believe that this person has paid money to be released. Forgetting that our constitution grants police bond is a right. When someone goes to court and gets police and gets bail, many people don't understand. They will still say, you see, bribery and corruption. How come this person that was arrested, taken to court, is now back in community? Forgetting that sometimes when people report to police, they don't want to follow.
Yes, because
So,
if the complainant
police
is not
stuck, there's
available,
no
they
complainant.
will just
Some
dispose
will
the
dump
case
this
off.
person. Maybe a person has been stealing. I'll look at one of the areas where there is mob justice. Never mess with a border motorcycle.
And,
or even just sit on it because someone has parked it there for you because you want to sit on it. You may just have left and they steal it. But we saw this man, this woman, so you must be very careful. there are mob justices so often.
And Robert, just speaking to the law in Uganda concerning mob justice, it is normally usually referred to as a mob action or a lynching, and it is illegal under the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda and statutory laws. It is considered a violation of human rights. And just going a bit deeper in that, the mob justice directly violates several fundamental rights enshrined in Chapter 4 of the 1995 Constitution of Uganda, where there is a right of life, Article 22. Lynching is a direct violation of the right to life. And Article 28 states the Constitution guarantees that any person charged with a criminal offense has the right to a fair, speedy, and a public hearing before an independent and impartial court. And also Article 24 or 44, mob actions, that is beating, burning, like this one, burning of property of a suspect, stripping, constitute cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment. And a right to liberty, that is Article 23, mob action unlawfully deprives individuals of their liberty.
Now,
as we are still talking about the factors
Ugandans
contributing.
must understand that according to our laws, anyone is presumed innocent until proved guilty by a competent court. Joan, even if on this set I strangle and kill you, I strangle you to death,
while the cameras are
while the cameras are on and the world is watching, before the judges, I'm innocent until proven guilty by a competent court. Now, when a person gets bail or bond, doesn't mean that the case is over. These people have secured their temporary freedom as the judicial process is going on. Now, then, if the public don't understand this, automatically mob justice prevails. But also, that said, there is what we call corruption within these systems.
Yeah, I agree.
No doubt about it. Corruption. That yes, sometimes the law enforcers have been perceived, and indeed they are, some of them are corrupt. Now, it befits the common person if this person they suspect of terrorizing them, for example, continuously. I love cows. I deal in cows. But if continuously we know this is the person who steals our cows, and every time we arrest them, they're taken to police, we try to follow up, they come back in communities.
You get that perceived corruption.
It happens continuously. We begin to wonder.
You lose faith.
That this is the person. This Mark II, at one time, it was arrested.
Having a cow.
Having a cow. We know the number plates.
The so-called Mark II Kasotas.
Now, again, we see the same man still having the same car. We arrested him with evidence. What will happen the next time? Our cows are being stolen.
I think Ugandans also...
It will prompt. Because one would say this person even followed up. How come this person even didn't reach court? So these sometimes the corruption in the systems breed the mob action amongst communities. So those are some of the outstanding factors. But also we have people who committing crime with impunity. Not corruption, but those that become untouchables.
The few have no prominent figures,
for example, in the land, there are people who are habitual land grabbers. Remember one time, I think it was Justice Catherine Bamgemereire, when she was heading a commission, she said, I think I want the name behind the names.
I've heard of sentiments like, even if you go to court, there is nothing you're going to do to me.
Or someone tells you, who is that one on that land?
Very untouchable.
Haji so and so.
Oh, mister.
Akola bine ebizigo. Entirely. Yeah. That
You're
one.
wasting your time.
You're wasting time.
Some even pull out firearms.
So when that is where communities get so agitated and they will wait. Remember Sobi?
Yeah.
Sobi, may he so rest in peace.
But,
he had become untouchable.
But we can also look at the victims
this guy
of circumstances.
comes with goons,
like some police
takes over your land. You can't access it. You get it. So you people who are out there, you may have this protection. But when you continue misusing it, no wonder sometimes the people they cling on do not even know the evil they are doing. I'm in Nakauka there with my brother. One gentleman, a Haji, he's protected by VIP protection. He's stealing openly land that even he's not connected into. But because he has that we call it immunity.
Impunity.
Immunity
immune.
Of being connected to somebody
I know big
in
people.
government. I know big people. Now he's stealing with impunity. Now this is where communities come up and say, okay, we can't take you to court. Courts will not listen. We can't take you to police. Police then will not also listen. There's a time even court issued a warrant of arrest for this man.
But let's look at the innocent individuals.
This is where these things happen.
Or those accused of minor cases. For example, the police personnel who was killed, I think, was it in, I'm forgetting the place, but he was lynched because of directed anger and frustration. Something else happens, but because someone is on their job, they decide to direct the anger onto someone.
And for that case, I don't know how further investigations went, but why would a one person with an AK-47?
Because you can have a mistaken identity and false...
For him, it wasn't mistaken identity. He was overpowered by the crowds. Of course, mob action, most of the times, like I said, because there is no time for proper investigation, doesn't get the right people. At one point, some people have survived. I think one time I shared this story on set. I was in my vac. Now, you know, after the killing of Martin, I remember I shared this story, how I survived mob action. So you know that age. Some OG, you're in vac, she's been your friend, directs you to go and visit them. Now you go to visit, and yet in that community at night they had stolen. Thieves broke in and stole property worth a lot of money, terrorized people. Now here is a young man roaming on people's fences. Said a black gate, but is this black? Calling the number is off. The father of the daughter has arrived. Guess what? Some lady simply begins an alarm.
And that is a wrong place or wrong time, whereby...
Now, people gather, but what saved was some woman who said, but let's first understand, young man.
What is the problem?
Where are you from? What is your name? Why have you come here? Yeah, well, I studied from this school. Good, it was a reasonable... So, sometimes, because there is no investigation, suspicion, like I said, you sit on someone's motorcycle.
A suspicion.
After some hours, you go and it's stolen.
And when you speak of that, Robert, when it comes to wrong place or wrong timing, that is bystanders or individuals perceived as acting suspicious, such as, remember, a senior army officer, Lieutenant Colonel Kebe Napekele, who was lynched in 2016 on suspicion of theft. And yet it wasn't true. But let's look at some of your comments coming through on our WhatsApp number. That is good. Someone comes in with good morning. It is something very difficult to reduce since most of the mob happens amongst citizens and police reports way later, and more even police officers I had tell them to finish the job, and they find when the victim is already gone, whether innocent or guilty. This is Milana from Bushenyi. Presenters, good morning. When did USA release?
Don't you remember the recent?
will be released, Fred Dokolo. Oh, these exams were released already, I think.
For senior 6.
For senior 6. Oh, USA.
Yes.
Oh, I thought she said UCE.
Not
USA.
Yet.
Oh, not yet. They was talking about the UCE. And then someone comes in with, good morning, UBC. Love the time you guys give us. Thanks for the topic today. I was asking, if rent payment delay for 3 months results in imprisonment officially through court Oh, okay. So
Well, that is something that, we may have
we
to do some research first before we can give, because it's the national broadcaster.
It depends
You
on
must
what
speak things
contract
that-
you had with the tenant.
But
or
when
with
she
your
says
landlord.
through court, so that means we also have to first consult our legal brains. But don't forget, one of the prominent people who experienced mob justice, she's Naka Ngubi, who? Full figure.
Jennifer
Naka Ngubi. She was worked on, and you could see the pictures thereafter, the face very bruised. And so that is what mob justice can do. She survived the last sentence, which is death, but got a thorough beating.
So let's now look at the impact on society or even on personal basis.
One,
of
mob justice is an indication of moral degradation.
Moral decay?
Moral decay.
Deterioration.
Because when a human being can kill another with stones, let's not take that lightly.
With burning.
Burning.
You set someone ablaze with tires.
And sometimes the people who do this action are not the ones that are affected directly, if you've noticed. Border men, they have not stolen from his shop, but they'll be the first to get stones, bricks, metals. You know, mob justice is funny. Mob action is funny. Someone just asks, what has happened? You know? And someone has the guts to pick a stone, a brick, to kill. That is a sign of moral, there's a problem. And when a society has that in terms of taking life very easy, that is an impact, the moral fabric of the country.
You know, Robert, there is
being
some kind of
destroyed.
mob justice that we've not really given enough attention. That is from borders, especially on the road. I've witnessed scenes of a collision, not really a very big one, but just scratches between a car owner and a border. And I happened to take some 10 minutes there. But I was astonished when even other border riders that were not present at the scene by the time this happened came from wherever they were, and they were castigating the car driver. And they're like, you're in wrong, irrespective of whether it is the truth or not.
Their solidarity.
Exactly, and they started, you know, breaking the screens of the car owner and the lights. But in actual sense, it was the fault of the border man. So I think border riders need to be highly sensitized when it comes to mob justice.
Definitely, there's so much has to be done, mob justice. Now, the other impact is loss of innocent lives.
Yeah.
There are very many people who have died or are sustaining permanent injuries, yet they had nothing to do with what happened to them. Remember during COVID-19, the early days, a young man who was beaten because of the community suspecting him to have COVID-19. 3, economic loss. We lose people who are contributing to our economy. And person will just be killed anyhow. But also damage to property. In some villages, someone is suspected to be a witch. Can you believe?
Like even this one, he was just practicing agricultural demonstrations, and the hut was burnt down. But as we come back to that, Robert, you, our viewer, you can engage with us on X, and the question there is, what strategies can be adopted to address and reduce incidents of mob justice in Uganda? That is on our X account, UBC TV. And on our WhatsApp, you can send us a message on 0709 602592. We are discussing mob justice in Ugandan communities. A comment coming in here. Good morning, all. No one is above the law. Please let us fight for justice. What if you kill someone who is not a thief? Pariok Charles Peter Lugazi Kibubu A. Let us follow the procedure of the law, please.
One time, I want to take you back the memory line. There was, remember Brigadier General Kasiri Gwanga. Now, someone comes from the blue and says,
as we're bringing this to a close.
In that land, my brother was killed and buried there. His ghost is speaking and telling me even the remains are there. Now, just think of how communities can go to destroy property or want to kill people you age.
Yeah.
Every old person is a witch.
Oh, even with just by the look of
someone has their shrines. A child disappears on the village. Not to say that still some of them, like I said, some are guilty anyway. But they will just rush to this person. I don't support the witchcraft or anything to do like that. But still, the rights of that person, the right to life and their properties should be protected. Okay. So we should all condemn mob justice. Yeah, unfortunately, we have to bring this conversation to an end. If you do not know the due processes of following what you have to file in as a case with the police or with court, please make sure you contact the authorities so that you are not caught on the other side of the law with mob justice. We are having a lot that is coming up: sports, tourism express, business, and the agenda. Good morning.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Exercise can't be sustained. Eating can't be stopped. It's even harder to lose weight. Come and give it a try. Genshikang L-carnitine chromium capsules. Plant extract, scientific ratio. Take 3 capsules each time. The active ingredient accelerates fat burning, eat twice a day. Don't take a detour. Weight loss starts now. Genshikang L-carnitine with chromium capsules helps you stay in shape. Please follow medical advice when taking this product. For more information, visit our website www.hgo.com or call 0800 335555.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Brought to you by Uniquely Ours. Explore Uganda.
So more and more people find wild animals in their gardens because they have nowhere more to hide. So they seek refuge in bushy areas and things like that. And over the last 5 years, I believe this is the 7th pangolin which was brought to us from the local community when they're clearing their fields or clearing their gardens. We always notify UA from the very first one we have. They normally send a team and then they translocate them to the national parks. The pangolins we get here are the white-bellied tree pangolins, so they're forest species. And as of recently, they've always taken them to Chibale, which is probably a suitable habitat because it's safe there, and there are tree pangolins there. Recently, we received a team from UA, however, with a directive that they should take it to Lake Mburo, which doesn't add up because these are tree pangolins. They shouldn't be in the savannah. They can't survive there. But nonetheless, we've always been giving them to UA, notifying them immediately, as we will as well today. Only the last 2 or 3 pangolins which we received, we asked UA at some point that since the community keeps bringing them here and since they are displaced from the forest, that UA might consider leaving 1 or 2 of them here as ambassador animals. Because in all of Uganda, there's no any place you can see a pangolin. If you go with a school class today and you say, we want to see a pangolin, there's nowhere in Uganda you'll see one. It's only by good luck you will see them in the forest, but that's not something you can guarantee. So from that point of view, we believe it would be to the benefit of the nation to at least have a place where people and students and even researchers, even UA staff themselves, even custom staff for sensibilization purposes could come and actually see the pangolin. So we have a lot of animals which are termite feeders, specialist feeders which only eat termites, as the pangolins are as well. We have bat-eared foxes which also only eat termites. So we have a lot of experience with these specialist feeders, and we've had bat-eared foxes for at least 5 years. And we have 1 pangolin now since 3 months, which is doing very well. I will actually show her to you later. Her name is Sally. And this one has just arrived now, so we will notify UA. We will check if it's a male or a female. This is an older pangolin compared to Sally, which you will see later. You can see it's still covered in dirt. Pangolins, they are quite defenseless, so they pretty much rely on peeing and pooping on you. That's their defense. This looks like it is a male. And this is a full-grown white. You see it's peeing. That's how they defend themselves. They're so defenseless. They don't bite. They can't really scratch or much. So they'll just pee on you, hoping that you will leave it alone. They're beautiful animals, unfortunately highly trafficked for Chinese traditional medicine purposes. But they're the most humble, most gentle, most friendly animal, other than peeing on people. I think we can put her back so that she doesn't get stressed. They're friendly, very, very friendly and harmless. Okay, let's just temporarily put her here so that she can relax. Okay. So this is Sally. Sally is a white-bellied tree pangolin. We've had her now for 3 months. She was rescued by the community, or let's say found by the community when they were clearing their gardens. Same like the pangolin which you saw them bringing today. We've today received the 7th pangolin over the last 5 years from the community. The reason why they keep finding them is because, as you know, the forests around Mityana and Butambala districts have been cut down over the last few years. There's very few forests left. So a lot of animals have been dispersed from their habitats. These pangolins are forest dwellers normally. So now that the forests have been cut down, they are moving into people's gardens and patches of bush. So people do find them more and more. And when they do come across them over the last few years, our community, since they know we work with wildlife, they've been bringing them here for safe custody. Then we notify UA. UA picks them and introduces them to safe areas like Chibale National Park. For the first 5 or 6 pangolins, UA has always taken them there. Then, as of recently, we asked UA that they might want to consider to leave one pangolin here as an ambassador animal, because there's nowhere in Uganda you can actually see a pangolin. Now, most people will have heard about pangolins because they're heavily trafficked for Chinese medicine, but few people have ever seen a pangolin alive. So that's why we believe it would be very good for the country to have at least one facility which keeps pangolins. The problem with pangolins is they're specialist feeders. They only eat termites and ants. And it's a bit tricky to feed them in captivity. That's why few zoos around the world have them. And that's why we're happy that we can say Sally has been here for 3 months, and she's actually gained a lot of weight since she's here, and she's doing perfectly fine. And I think it would be very nice if the country would have at least one place where people can see and learn about pangolins. So therefore, we hope we'll be able to keep Sally here.
Where are you going to be getting the ants and termites?
No, we have specialized food for them. In Europe, they've made a formula. It's a powder, which is based on protein and has all the minerals and nutrients which they need for zoo animals. So we are importing specialized food for them, diet, which you mix with water. It's like a porridge, and you feed them. Because it would be hard to sustain to collect that many ants every day, because they eat a lot. But as you see, she looks very healthy and she's very well fed.
Is that feather-like?
These ones, they're relatively soft. It's like soft fingernails actually. You can touch her. And it's just for protection. They don't use them, it's only for defense. So they roll up into a ball when there's any threat, and the scales just keep them safe, that they're not easy to be eaten by a smaller animal.
Brought to you by Uniquely Ours. Explore Uganda.
Good morning once again. Welcome back from Tourism Express that is proudly brought to you by the Uganda Tourism Board. It's now time for our economic press, and starting off with fuel supply. The Chief Corporate Affairs Officer at the Uganda National Oil Company, Tony Otowa, has assured that Ugandans should not speculate about a possible fuel shortage or price instability. Now, the response comes again amidst the growing conflict in the Middle East between Israel, Iran, and the U.S. Uganda National Oil Company manages the government's commercial interest in the petroleum sector. Let's have a look at this confirmation.
There is growing speculation over potential fuel supply shortages due to the developments in the Middle East. But government has assured the public that there will be sufficient fuel products to meet the country's demand.
With our Ginger storage terminal, which is a 30 million litre capacity terminal, we have other avenues for bringing in this fuel despite the terminal, but also we have private investors who have bigger terminals than the Ginger storage terminal, like Mahati, that are supporting with making sure that we have enough stock in the country.
Global markets are closely watching developments in the Gulf region, which also raises questions about Uganda's dependence on routes linked to the Strait of Hormuz.
So we've not only been relying on the Middle East, and with our partner Vito, who's an international partner, we've been sourcing from different markets around the world. So India, Singapore are those immediate ones, but of course the Americas also provide an option. And whether this will impact on the pricing, that I can't say for certain right now, because it's a global conversation. All of these are, trends within the markets, and if you've been following the market trends, you can see some bit of fluctuation in pricing. So I can't speak certainly for that, but what I know is that the markets are available, or where we can get this product are available to be able to sustain the demand in the country.
Asked whether the current situation would accelerate strategic storage expansion, refinery development, or domestic production timelines, Otowa reiterated government's commitment to strengthen national energy security under existing petroleum supply frameworks.
I think with or without this crisis, we were already accelerating these strategic storage options. Kampala Storage Terminal, which is a 320 million litre capacity terminal, is already underway. We are already doing the early parts of the whole, development of that whole, storage facility. We have the expansion of the Ginger storage terminal, adding another 10 million litres. So that already goes to show you that the government, or UNOC, is very keen on making sure that we have these facilities available for us within the next 3 to 4 years to be able to deal with such shocks.
Uganda consumes an average of 7 million litres of fuel per day, imported by the Uganda National Oil Company on behalf of government alongside other private sector stakeholders. Private sector suppliers have been discouraged from hoarding fuel, with authorities warning that such practices could lead to losses, as the government intends to maintain stable and consistent supply across the country. Wadulo Arnold Mark for UBC.
Thank you very much, Wadilo Mark. Now, moving on to the field of science and technology, SETA University has strengthened its manpower in health, education, and artificial intelligence as part of efforts to position itself as a leader in science and technology training. The university is currently offering an 8-week foundational artificial intelligence course targeting senior six leavers, equipping them with basic AI knowledge and practical skills to prepare them for opportunities in the evolving digital economy. In addition, the institution launched the first edition of SETA Fest, a platform aimed at showcasing innovation, creativity, and academic excellency among students and staff. Despite being one of the youngest universities in the country, SETA University has already built strong capacity in health sciences, standing out as an emerging center for quality medical and technology-driven education. Let's have a look at this report.
SETA University has strengthened its manpower in health education and artificial intelligence as part of efforts to position itself as a leader in science and technology training. The university has been offering an 8-week fundamental artificial intelligence course targeting senior 6 leavers, equipping them with basic AI knowledge and practical skills to prepare them for opportunities in the evolving digital economy.
Tuina short course je tusoma waneeno artificial intelligence era ngeno course etuyambako naddala ffe abaali batakola computer ku A-level atuyambako okukozesa computer in our daily life okutwaliza awamu ffenna kati abasoma AI tumanyi we tukozesa computer,
HTML and more and many others.
In addition, the institution launched the first edition of SETA Fest, a platform aimed at showcasing innovation, creativity and academic excellence among students and staff.
Olwaleero SETA University tulina kye tuyise SETA Fest nga abaana baffe balukamiga bannaabwe ababa joininga weeks esatu emabega abasoma artificial intelligence ne programming. Tuba welcoming university bajje balabe bannaabwe bakola. University abasinga bamanyi nti waliwo okusoma kukkana kubeera serious mu class. Naye ffe nga SETA buli wiki tuna program etambulirako ku Lwokutaano abaana babeera ne music amaze okusoma, ku Lwomukaaga tubeera n'ebyemizannyo sports nga bwemulabye emipiira ogusoose ku makya n'ebirala bagenda kubeera ne face painting n'ebirala. Ku Sunday babeera mu swimming because bagenda kusoma ku Monday bagenda kisinga bwe batyo. So eno first purposely creating okolera wamu kitwalize team building lwaki twagirese ekyokubiri abaana okubalulukaminga mu institution n'ekyokusatu okujjawo enjawulo bali abaana badde bakyetya balowooza ba senior 6 ate bano ba university, so yensonga lwaki tubaleese tubeere nga ffena tutambulira wamu.
Despite being one of the youngest universities in the country, SETA University has already built strong capacity in health sciences, standing out as the emerging center for quality medical and technological driven education.
Omuli obusawo, particularly nursing, tuyina pharmacy, tuyina midwifery, mu technology tuyina data science and artificial intelligence, tuyina computer science, wadda mu business tuyinayo business management ng'erina tracks ez'enjawulo. So university courses zonna mu area ya science, mu area ya environment, engineering, technology ne agriculture. Particularly tuyina course wembagamba ezitali za mu science naye nga supporting science, faculty ya law tuyina ba lawyer tusomeseza bulungi, National Council tukiriza basomesa ne Law Council tukiriza basomesa. So muleta abaana basome.
Abantu machawe Semambo and Fred Kasibante for UBC.
Thank you so much. And now let's look at how your currency is faring against other currencies, starting off with the US dollar. And this was of 3rd March 2026 by Bank of Uganda. The US dollar there bought at 3,627.05. And it is selling at 3,637.05. Now the dollar is experiencing currency appreciation compared to what I told you yesterday. It has increased by over 21.19 units, and that is for the buying rate. And for the selling rate, the dollar has amassed over 84.14 units. That is a big whole magnitude for the currency of the US dollar as it is trading today. Could it be because of what is happening in Iran? We shall have to find out that. And by midday, the dollar was trading at 3,690.00 and selling at 3,700.00, while by close of business, the dollar bought at 3,714.32. Oh, it is quite a very big increment from the opening of 3,627.05 to a whopping 3,714. And yes, the dollar was selling at 3,724.32. Whereas the Great British Pound bought at 4,943.75 and is selling at 4,958.93. The euro there is buying at 4,308.23 and selling at 4,320.95. Whereas the Kenyan shilling is buying at 28.73 and selling at 28.85. The Tanzanian shilling there is buying at 1.43 and selling at 1.46. Whereas the South African rand is buying at 226.16 and selling at 226.95. You bear me witness that where we are heading to with the dollar, it is a bit, you know, mind-blowing, and you can try to ponder on that. But there is, for my business people, a traffic advisory along Karuma Bridge, that is Karuma Bridge along Kampala-Gulu Highway, for those of you who are expecting to transport merchandise for your businesses. The Uganda police team operating along the Karuma Bridge area has informed the public of a planned exercise today to retrieve an overturned trailer at Karuma Bridge between 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. and the exercise is expected to last approximately 3 hours or less. So traffic delays and temporary inconvenience expected during this period. So motorists, you're advised to plan your journey accordingly, allow for extra travel time, and strictly follow traffic police guidance on site. But as well, approach with caution as you're approaching that area. Coming up is the agenda. Still with me. Thank you for accompanying us. Good morning. Let's sip on our coffee.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Pick of the day on UBC.
Every Wednesday, 10 p.m. on your public broadcaster.
Was brought to you by
I'll call you every day, yeah, yo, baby, don't know.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks. Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000.